Good afternoon, good evening, and good night for those of you on the East Coast. It's 10 o'clock p.m. right now over on your guys' time. So thank you for being on the live call. If you are here, if you are watching the recording, I also thank you for taking time out of your day. I'm going to jump right into this thing. Actually, first, we have new coaches on the team, and we have new fires getting ignited in previous coaches. So if you don't know me already, if you've been brought on by another coach, my name is Charles Leslie, or Coach Chaz. I am the founder of Team Rise and Grind, the team that you're on. And I am simply here as your guys' diamond leader to provide any tips, advice on my journey, what works for me. And just like anything in life, what works for me isn't necessarily going to work for you, but you can take what I say, give it a try. If it doesn't work, tweak it, make it you, and move forward. So that's what these calls are for. It's every single Friday night at 6 p.m. Tonight's a little bit later because, again, I was just talking to these guys before we started recording. My wife and newborn baby are heading out of town, so I spent an extra hour with them, which was my priority. So moving forward, we're going into recognition. Tonight's going to Elise, who is at Success Club 14, which is friggin' awesome. Seriously, that is a huge achievement. So congratulations to you. And then right behind there are Kaylee and myself, who are both at Success Club 5 for pretty much ending the month of January. One more huge announcement. That's me doing the cheesy drum roll to Kaylee for officially hitting Success Club All-Star as of 2 days ago, I believe. All-Star means Success Club 5 for 12 months in a row. That is no easy task. I've done it myself, and it's incredibly difficult because it takes consistency in your business more than anything. It's easy to do stuff all out with intensity every now and then, but for you to stay consistent in it, that's where this business lies. The entire thing is built on consistency. So congratulations again, my friend. We spent a good hour on the phone this morning, so you already know how proud I am of you and your hard work. So moving forward, I just have a few bullet points. I don't have anything written down as far as specifics. I'm just going off the top of my head as I usually do. First up is Comfort Zone Breaker. This is going to be a series of mini challenges that I'm going to post inside of the main Team Rise and Grind group. These challenges are going to force you to get out of your comfort zone, to do stuff that makes you have butterflies, to do stuff that maybe you've been putting off on your own. And I'm going to share a story in a little bit. I'm actually going to write this down so I don't forget to share it. I completely forgot to write that down. All right, so I'm going to share this story about an incentive that was thrown at me, and it forced me to become focused and to get out of my comfort zone, which is why I wanted to talk about it tonight. So these challenges, comfort zone breakers, plateau breakers, whatever you want to call them, we all have a common ground. We are uncomfortable talking to new people, and we're hiding behind fear is what it all comes down to. There's a ton of different reasons why, but it all stems down to the core, which is anytime that we think about doing certain things, there's this fear that we create. And one thing about fear, as Greg Plitt talks about, and he's a huge fitness idol of mine, Greg Plitt talks about fear is self-imposed. That means you create it and you can destroy it. You have the power to do that, but it takes confronting it to get over that fear. So I've already come up with a list of mini challenges. I'm going to post inside the group early in the morning. That way, those of you on the East Coast, I'm on West Coast. So those of you in the East Coast can have a good heads up and not, noon or 3 o'clock your time. So first one's going to be posted tomorrow morning. And I'm excited. I'm really excited because I don't think many people are going to do it. Any of these challenges. Why? Because you have to get out of your comfort zone. And a lot of people I did some teaser posts inside the group, right? I said, I'm going to be posting a series of comfort zone breaker challenges. who's game. And, you know, the first one I did, we had a big list of people like, ooh, me, 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 me. We'll see. These challenges, if you do them, and not just do them when I post them, but if you do them when I post them and then think, wow, if I did this every day, I could probably get really comfortable to talking to people. So the first one's getting posted tomorrow morning. I might even post it late tonight. We'll see. But the whole goal is to just do it. Don't even give yourself time to sit here and ponder and let it storm into a giant thing that scares you away from doing it. When you read the post and the challenge, tell yourself, I've got it. I'm going to do it. Why? Because I want to be a leader. I want to build this business, and I want to be the best version of myself that I can. And that means breaking down all these walls that I have built up and letting the true me just shine and not give a damn of what people think about me. I've been a consistent work in progress myself for the last 6 years. I've been signed up doing this stuff. And it's really not until the last year or so that I broke down most of my walls. I mean, of course, we all have walls that are going to stay up for whatever reasons, but I've actively been breaking these things down. And it's by doing stuff like what I'm going to post about in the Comfort Zone Breaker Challenge. So moving forward, next up on my list is I am personally hosting a Real Foods challenge. Eat clean challenge, Whole Foods challenge, whatever you want to call it. But my goal is to get people eating real food. That means 1 ingredient foods, not these boxes that have a list of 20 ingredients and half of them you don't even know what they are or you can't pronounce them. So I'm hosting this challenge. It's going to be a 5-day challenge. It starts this Monday on the 2nd. And I've already posted about it inside the group. So you can go into Team Rise and Grind, scroll down a little bit until you find it, and then you can see the link to get in there. So whether you yourself need to get back on track with your nutrition, or if you want to use this group as a place to invite your people, make sure you keep a list of who you invite in there, because at the end of the 5 days, I'm going to start promoting the next 30-day Beachbody Challenge, which is where you can promote your programs and your products. So I'm basically doing most of the hard work for you guys. And I'm opening up the group to the team so you can do it. You can simply invite them. I'm the one hosting it and doing most of the work, but it's going to kind of teach you hands-on what I do with my groups and how I run them. And then you and I connect one-on-one, and we can talk about how you can host your group on the next time around. But I just thought this would be a great way for maybe you're a new coach or maybe you're a seasoned coach, but you're not comfortable enough with starting your own group. This gives you somewhere to plug your customers into. So with the Real Foods group, it is 5 days. It's 100% free. So anyone, doesn't matter if they buy a program or not, they can sign up. And this is just a good way to get a lot of people in one group. And you'll find that this business is a numbers game. If you get 10 people going for the group, maybe 1 or 2 will actually do something afterwards as far as getting a challenge pack or Shakeology or anything like that. So I just figured, why not open it up to the team for those of you that want to participate yourself, as well as bring your own clients, customers, or your free customers in there. I am more than happy to assist you with that. So if you have any more questions, just reach out to me. But I already did a big post about it inside the group, so go find that. And I hope to see you guys in there. Next up is January is over, basically. We have tomorrow. So what we need to be doing right now is setting your goals and scheduling. If you have kids, I have now learned this, that I have a newborn. You can't necessarily schedule specific timing ahead of time like that, but you can still make some type of loose schedule, which is what I follow now. I came from a background of doing a pretty strict schedule on myself. I had certain tasks at certain times that I did every day. Now with a newborn, it's more of a loose schedule. I know what I need to get done during the day, but it's not necessarily the same time every day. So for those of you without kids, you have no excuse as to why you cannot schedule yourself specifically, because I did it for the last year and it got me to where I'm at now. So with February goals and scheduling, don't make the mistake that I made last month. With January, I didn't considering you guys know, most of you know my story. Our boy came 4 weeks early. He had some issues, so we were in the hospital for 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks of December. So I didn't even sit down and make my January schedule. I didn't make any goals or anything like that until this week. So it's pretty much the end of the month. And so for January, I pulled out Success Club 5 still, but for the most part, I didn't achieve anything else. I didn't read as much as I wanted to. I didn't do as many blog posts as I wanted to. I didn't film as many videos as I wanted to because I started too late. I missed the wave. So what you need to be doing is before February starts, that means tonight or tomorrow, before February starts, have a vision. If you do not have a vision for where you want to be, you will consistently put it off until next thing you know, oh crap, February is gone. Okay, what am I going to do in March? One thing, Kaylee and I talked about this morning on the phone. Again, Greg Play, I saw a video of his one time where he's talking about how the end of our life, so that date that we are going to die, does not move back one day if you decide, oh, I'll just do something tomorrow. Okay? It doesn't work like this. They don't move with each other. If this is the day you're going to die and you decide, I'm going to push it off till tomorrow. I'm going to push it off till tomorrow. I'm going to push it off till next month. I'm going to start Monday. Guess what? You're wasting time. This is something that has been nonstop in my head for the last couple weeks. And I tell you what, I have been more productive in the last 2 weeks, and I kid you not, than I have in the last 6 months. Because the last 6 months, I would do a little bit each day, and throughout the week, I might accomplish some sort of list that I had written out. But I tell you what, I've been doing that whole list every single day now. Non-negotiable. I make it happen. I make time for it. Do I have time? God, no. I have a newborn. That soaks up all kinds of time. And I'm still getting my workouts done 6 days a week. I'm still getting my personal development done 6 days a week. I make time for this stuff, and it's something you have to prioritize, because if it's important to you, you make time for it. You look at someone like an alcoholic. Do they have time or the money to get, or a drug addict or anything like that? Do they have the time or the money to get their substance and to use it every single day, multiple times a day? No, they make time for it because for them, it's a priority. It's the same thing for those of us with kids. Do we necessarily have the time to put into them and spend time with them and all this stuff? No, but we make the time to do it because it's a priority. So if anything with this business is something you truly want, you need to make it a priority and you need to make time. So that's what you need to focus on with February, because January is over. I don't care if you just signed up or if you've been on this thing as long as I have for 6 years. If you completely wasted January, so what? It's behind you. Don't even dwell and focus on it. Focus on where you're at now. Start with the clean slate. Really look at your life and what you want. Remember that Beachbody is your vehicle. You can drive this thing wherever you want. So, don't focus on what you've done before or not done. Just focus on where you're at now and moving forward. So set those February goals. Next up, get into the meat and potatoes. You guys excited? Getting out of your comfort zone. This is my life story, getting out of my comfort zone. I came from, smacked my elbow. Did you hear that nice and loud? I was right on my funny bone too. That hurt. So getting out of your comfort zone. There are so many depths and layers to getting out of your comfort zone that I don't have enough time tonight. I could spend all night talking about the different layers and different focuses. So I'm just going to talk about the basics, which can be, they're universal. You can use them for whatever you're going through. So comfort zone. We all have a comfort zone when it comes to business, relationships, money, inviting people, talking to people, being ourselves, workouts, nutrition. We have a comfort zone for all of those. You think about a job that you're really damn good at. I'll use Dawn as an example. Dawn is a kick-ass waitress. She is confident. She knows what she's doing. That's right. Thumbs up. She knows what she's doing. She is more than happy to go out of her comfort zone when she's doing that job because she kicks ass at it. She's confident in it because she's done so many thousands of hours that she's conditioned her mind and her body to be used to it. So showing up and putting in a game, that's nothing for her. She's used to it. But if you ask somebody who's used to something to do something out of their comfort zone, so let's say she came over and my career as a massage therapist. So if I were to call Dawn up and say, hey, I have an extra client I need you to work on. If I were to tell her to come over and massage this person, do you think she'd be comfortable? You think she'd be pretty out of her comfort zone and not want to do it? Yeah, that's right. Thumbs down. But here's the thing. If she came over and worked on my extra clients every single day and she did it repetitively, let's say 100 times, do you think she'd be pretty comfortable and used to it by then? Yes. Give me a thumbs up, Don. She'd be kick-ass at it, right? So if you want to kick ass at something, you have to put in the repetitions. You have to put in the hours and do it over and over and over. Anything new that we start, it's never going to be easy in the beginning. Even with my own career, I've been doing massage therapy for 7 years, which is nuts. I mean, I was just 18 graduating massage school. Seems like last week. But I kid you not, when I had my first massage client, and I talked about this on a call before, when I had my first massage client, that scared the crap out of me. I had spent 12 months working on my same classmates the whole time, so I was comfortable with those guys. But all of a sudden, I have somebody paying me money to work on them, and I have no idea who they are. They're naked on my table, and I'm rubbing their body down. Scared the crap out of me, especially at 18, 19 years old. But you know what? I showed up for work the next day. I got out of my comfort zone. I did it again. And I showed up the next day and the next day and the next day. And I kept doing it day in and day out. Next thing you know, 7 years down the road, I'm a kick-ass massage therapist because I'm confident in it now. So wherever you're struggling, you need to have that mentality. You're going to suck at whatever you do for the first time. And when we're talking about this business in particular, the first time that you talk to somebody in a grocery store and somehow you bring up Beachbody in conversation, you're going to suck at it. You're probably going to talk too much. You're going to word vomit all over them and they're going to walk away and never talk to you again. If you decide to, you sit down one day and you decide, you know what, I'm going to start a program, let's say Combat. I'm going to start Combat and I'm going to document my journey on YouTube. Guess what? The first time you do a video, you're going to suck at it. But guess what? You show up again and again and again, and you build confidence by getting out of your comfort zone. It's that you can, again, guys, you can use that mentality for anything in life. The first time you do anything, you're not going to be comfortable. You're not going to be confident, and you're flat out just going to suck at it. But guess what? If you want to be kick-ass at anything, you have to do it a lot of times until you build up the confidence to the point where if somebody comes to you and asks you about it, you can teach them because you've been there, you know it. That's why everything I talk about on these calls, I've been there. I've done it. I'm still doing it. I am always a work in progress. None of us are ever finished. Though, you know, I'm a big fanatic of always learning, not just in the sense of doing personal development, but, you know, I look at life. You should always be learning because we are one of the only creatures on the face of the planet that has that ability, which I find incredible how the human mind works, especially doing massage therapy and being heavily into fitness and health. The human body amazes me on what we can do. You know, our brains alone, our mindset, it's the only thing like it on the face of the planet. You have the ability to learn new skills. You have the ability to do all this kind of stuff that nothing else on the planet can do. So you always need to be learning. And that takes getting out of your comfort zone. A prime example is what I talked about before, where I saw Jimmy Nelson post about this men's leadership training event that he's doing down in Dallas. And before I can talk myself out of it, within 15 minutes of me seeing it, I registered. Do I have the money to buy a $450 plane ticket to fly down there? No, but I'm going to find a way to make it happen because I have now made it a priority. That's severely out of my comfort zone, but I know that the knowledge I will gain from that is going to outweigh the investment that I put into it. And it's like that with your personal development. It's like that with anything else. Like, because I'm a Beachbody coach, I am very into fitness, which means I'm not doing the bare minimum, which is just doing my workouts here at home. I am constantly researching and studying about fitness, nutrition, sleep, water, mindset, all this kind of stuff. It's not just about reading personal development books. It's about researching what's going on out there, researching studies that have been done, knowing and learning about our own products, learning the differences between P90X and Insanity as far as a fitness point, strength training versus aerobic training, all that kind of stuff. Always be learning. And all of that takes getting out of your comfort zone. So you guys can see the pattern here. Anything you want to be great at, scratch that. Anything you want to kick ass at, you have to be willing to, number one, get out of your comfort zone. And number two, you have to be willing to work for it. Anything you want out of life, anything you want out of this business, anything you want as a person, you have to be willing to put in the work. Because those who are not willing to put in the work make excuses and then they sit on their butt. I've been there more times than I can even count on my hands and toes and whatevers. I've been there. It sucks to get out of your comfort zone. It sucks. And it's like, if you can take the world's best trainings on getting out of your comfort zone, it would sum up to this. Getting out of your comfort zone sucks, but it is so worth it when you do. Right there. That's your golden nugget. You can take that and apply it to anything in life. Getting out of your comfort zone sucks, but it is so worth it when you do. Because how many times have you had fear about doing something and then you actually show up and do it, and then you tell yourself, that wasn't as bad as I thought it would be? And then you do it again and you do it again. I'm going to use Dawn as an example again. I will never forget the look on her face when I first told her, I'm like, hey, there's this obstacle race coming up that I want you to do. You talk about deer in the headlights. Dawn was scared shitless in that. But guess what? She showed up, she did it, and she even told me afterwards, it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. Because we take these little tiny nuggets, right? And this is how fear is created. We take an idea about doing something, and then it starts out as a seed, and it just grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. And all of a sudden, it's this big fear that's always doing this in the back of your head all day long. Especially when you think about doing it, it's like, poof, it gets bigger. It's self-imposed. We create our own fears. That's a downfall of the human mind. The mind is amazing, but at the same time, it's like, shit, why does it create all this crap for me? It's like half the stuff we can't even control. But you can overcome it. It doesn't matter if you can control it. You can overcome it. So getting out of your comfort zone, there's so many different levels, guys. If anyone's on the live call right now, unmute yourself and just share, your thoughts on comfort zones. I need at least one person. I'm not going to talk until one person gets up. You want to talk about getting out of your comfort zone? How about somebody unmutes themselves and steps up and does it? Anything related to comfort zone, go for it.
I've been starting to do videos again.
Awesome.
It's out of my comfort zone.
There you go. That's a perfect one. Who else? Comfort zone, anything. What are your fears? How are you overcoming it? What are your thoughts? Need one more person or I'm not even going to talk.
I like to chime in. My fear is that people are not taking me seriously as far as a coach, and I do believe they have reason to, but I am taking that anger and frustration of my self-confidence and getting out there and doing my virtual fit club every week. I've done month 1 of Insanity Max 30. I've only missed 2 days. And I have no, my diet's not perfect, but I don't own anything that's bad in my refrigerator. I'm going to Costco and getting all the fruits and veggies, and I just want this so bad. Like, I can't even put it into words right now. Just feeling feeling kind of lonely, and when I think about what my life's gonna be like when I finally reach where I want to be and how awesome it's gonna be, that's what keeps me going right now, and that's how I am gaining more confidence by keeping the dream alive and um, pushing forward.
Awesome. I appreciate you sharing that, brother. Um, those are real world examples. Comfort zones, fear, it's all correlated. I think fear is the biggest reason why we have comfort zones, because, you know, it's almost like you're knocking at this door and you kind of peek through and go, oh crap. It's really scary out there. I don't want to step out there. You kind of peek through and you go, oh shit, there's scary stuff out there I don't want to face. But then again, you know, Tom, like you said, you're doing it anyways. You're showing up and you're putting in the work, and all of a sudden it gets easier and easier and easier. You get more confident. And it's funny how comfort zones, fear, and confidence are like the three major components that all intertwine with each other. You can't mess with one without messing with the other, because if you have fear, it forces you to stay in your comfort zone or your comfort bubble, which keeps your confidence low. But if you face those fears, get out of your comfort zone, all of a sudden your confidence starts to build up until the point where you wake up, and if you're going to do whatever task that you've built up, you go, yeah, I'm going to kick ass at it. Why? Because I built myself up to that point. It's like, you know, for myself, I have people that come up to me, and whether it be like Facebook or some of my family members in person mention this, and they're always like, you know, how are you so confident what you're talking about, like all my motivational Facebook posts and stuff? It's like, you know what, 99% of the time, when I do my motivational Facebook posts or my real talk posts, I'm talking about stuff about me that I also see in other people. And I have faced those fears, and I have broken down those walls, and I've climbed over those, pushed through them, kicked my way through them, and fought through them. And here I am on the other end going, holy shit, this feels good.
And there's another thing that you guys have to think about too, is that, you know, what's your life like? What's holding you back? Why not you? And the reason why I say it is because, I don't know if you know Sherry Inman. She's one of the top coaches now. She's actually from my area, and a few years ago we had a fit club at a local gym, and nobody was coming. And like we're like, why is this not working? You know, and she found a way to make it work for herself. So why not you? Why are you not building your business to get where you want to be? And you know, Anita Myron, she's a top 10 coach. Also from my area, she's from our Super Saturdays. And me and my brother first started going to Super Saturdays. There was like me, my brother, maybe 10 other people at the Super Saturday. And now there's over 200 people at the last Super Saturday. Jeff Hill was there. So I see the success of other coaches are having, and why not me? Why not you guys? So that's another tidbit I wanted to share.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it right on the head. Like, I have an exact same story about Amy Silverman. Amy's local to me, so she's like Anita Myron to you. I first met Amy in the Bahamas when I was brought as a guest of Jason's. And so when I went to that Bahamas trip for the Success Club trip, I had met Amy, and she was just a diamond. She had just reached diamond. And before that, Jason would tell me stories about how he remembers her being an emerald when they were first doing road tripping stuff. Because they would drive over to Florida with her upline, Liz, and Liz used to date Jason. So there's that whole backstory there. So I remember seeing Amy for the first time, meeting her, and then I start going to her. I was her first Super Saturday member. There were 8 of us inside of her garage on her first Super Saturday. This last one, there were over 300. And she's now number 6 in the company, I believe. Number 4 that she finished in, which is nuts. So I've gone through kind of the same thing that you have, Tom, where it's like, you know, we tend to, it's the human part of us. We like to compare ourselves to others. So I look at, I used to look at Amy and be envious of what she had. And then all of a sudden she blows up and I think, holy shit, I just watched her do that. She was in the same spot I'm in right now.
And like when those top coaches like post like those amazing trips, or like Sherry, I see posts of her like, oh, I'm at the Beachbody headquarters. Like, I don't feel jealous. Like, I feel that's what I want. Like, why not me? Why am I not there? So it's like, kudos to them,
Yep, exactly. Literally just a couple hours ago, I was scrolling through the Facebook and I saw Amy and Kevin are inside of Puerto Rico right now. So Amy had posted this picture of her overlooking just like the most beautiful beach you can imagine. Right. Yeah, if this were like 2 years ago, I'd be like, oh, like I can't believe she's there and blah, blah, blah. I'd have been jealous. And I told Tristan, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to be there.
And Anita's upline, I heard her story before on one of the calls. She said all I wanted to do was make a few extra dollars and help a few people out. And she posted the other day, like one of her check was like $23,000. I'm like, that's awesome. Why not me? Why not you guys?
Exactly. Why not us? It's like we are in the trenches that those guys were in.
Right.
We all start at zero. We all start in the exact same spot. We all start with no coaches. We all start with a zero paycheck. We start with zero customers. We all start in the same spot. The only difference, I think I told Kaylee this morning, the only thing that separates us from the super successful coaches is work and consistency and time. There's no difference. They don't have better skills. They don't have better personalities because we're all so unique. We're all so different. But the common ground is the work, which means showing up and inviting and all that stuff that makes us uncomfortable. So that's why I'm excited to start doing these challenges. And I want to do I'm thinking 3 a week of just posting stuff that will make us all uncomfortable. I'm going to do it right there with you guys because it's stuff that scares me still. I'm still uncomfortable with a lot of things. Even though I do them, I don't do them as often as I need to be to get confident with them. So that leads me into next one. That was all about getting out of your comfort zone. Anyone have any questions? Are you all good to go? Ready to hear me ramble on a little bit more about the next one? We're going to talk about focus. We're talking laser freaking focus. Now, I don't know why, but I always think about Austin Powers. Dr. Evil's talked about the sharks with laser beams. Okay, anyways. We're talking about focus. Focus. This is something I've learned a lot lately, and I shared this on the call before we started recording. But my business and my life, I have run on a very strict schedule for the last year probably. I use Google Calendars, which is synced up with my phone. A lot of you guys have seen some of my training videos on how I do that. And I have done certain tasks like my workouts, my check-in calls, all this kind of stuff I've done at certain times on certain days, and almost some of them every day. And I have found out that reflecting back, I was a lot lazier than I thought I was being. I would look at my checklist I put together, my GSD list, right? If you don't know what that is, go into the team group, scroll down a little bit, and there's a team call I just did like 2 weeks ago where I posted that list on there. So GSD, what's it mean? Get shit done. Laser focus. So reflecting back, I used to spend hours trying to get this list done. And then I would only do half of it. I'd say, okay, I'll do the rest tonight. Tonight would come, I look at some of them and be like, yeah, I don't really feel like checking in with anyone. I'm being a hermit tonight. I don't feel like doing this. Okay, I'll just, check it off anyways. I never noticed that at the time, but now reflecting back, I'm like, holy shit, man, why did you waste so much time? So fast forward to now, I have a newborn. Holy time sucker. I cannot run my schedule on a very strict way that I used to. So what I have learned is focused intensity will far outweigh half-assing projects all day long. What I mean by that is, for example, my little boy Ty, he usually eats and burps and gets changed and all that kind of stuff. And he lays down once he goes to sleep because he's still in the phase where he's like, "Bah." So once he goes to sleep, I know that I have like an hour and a half to get shit done. That's my GSD time. So when I look at that list, knowing I only have 90 minutes, you bet your ass I am busting mine every single minute. I am working through that list as fast as I can, but while maintaining quality as far as posting content, inviting. I'm not rushing those processes, but I am being laser freaking focused on what I'm doing, because there's a difference between being busy and being productive. And that's what focus will bring. That's what creates the barrier between those two, is focus. Because we're all guilty of logging on to Facebook to check in with my challengers and do my invites, but I'm going to waste an hour and a half scrolling through the news feed just liking people's statuses. We're all guilty of it. I just did it earlier. I wasted like an hour on Facebook, and I caught myself doing it. I went, no, Chaz, close the laptop, go get stuff done. And then I made some calls after that. So the point is, we're all guilty of it. So there's no hiding. You know, it's just like nutrition. We all pig out every now and then. We all eat shit foods every now and then. So what? Don't hide behind it, because that's where, you know, bad stuff happens, is when you're hiding it. That's what we're here for as a team and a community. We're here to support each other. I know that I can post inside the group and say, hey guys, I'm really tired, but I still have a list of 5 people I'm supposed to check in with. What should I do? You guys are going to be there to support me and motivate me and help me get back up and keep my mind focused on what I need to be doing. So you need to be strict on yourself, because even though we are here as a team, no one is on speed dial to light a fire under your ass. Only you can do your work. You know, the most common scenario is I've had coaches sign up and they expect me to build their businesses for them. They ask questions like, oh, so you're going to put coaches under me for me? No. You do your work. I do mine. We support each other. That's how a team works. We're here to support and motivate each other. So when it comes to focusing, use a list. Seriously, I used to hate, I'm talking like capital letters, hate lists. Never followed them, because I thought, you know, I've built my confidence up to a level where I know what I need to be doing. I'm pretty confident in being motivating and talking to people. I don't need to follow a list. It's stupid. Next thing you know, I realize it's been a month and I haven't invited one person to the business. I haven't invited one person to our products. And I realized, why hasn't my business gone up at all? Why did it go down? And I reflect back and realize I didn't do business building activities. So by following a list, it forces you to do stuff every single day, especially on the days you don't want to. Because on the days you don't feel like it, that's where you need to be working the hardest. It's just like with workouts. If you show up 3 days a week when your calendar says you need to work out 6 days a week, you're going to get half the results. So if you are only showing up and putting in half the work that you need to be doing to achieve whatever your goals are, you're going to get half the results. So with focused intensity, this means looking at your most productive projects and tasks and activities, whatever's on your list. Like I said, the GSD list is my personal list. You guys can use it as is, or you can edit, make it yours, and go from there. But the point is, when you sit down, set a timer if you need to for an hour. Make a power hour. You're going to invite 5 people. You're going to talk to 20. You're going to check in with all your challenge group members, your clients. You're going to check in with your coaches if you have a team built. Make a list of what you need to do each day to progress forward towards your goals, and do it every single day, especially for you guys in my diamond group. I'm making a video tomorrow, which is going to be a swift kick in the butt, because my diamond group is for those who are serious. If you want and see yourself being a diamond, I'm going to treat you like a diamond. If you want to be an emerald, put in emerald work. But if you say, hey, Chaz, I want to be a diamond, guess what? I'm expecting that little bit of an extra effort, which comes from diamond level work. If you want to be a diamond and you're only doing emerald level work, you're only ever going to be an emerald. There's a reason I was stuck at diamond for 3 years, because I would wake up each day and put in diamond work. Even though I'm sitting here staring at 5-star thinking, wow, that would be really cool. Did I ever do 5-star diamond level work? No. I was stuck in diamond mode. So I did diamond work. But guess what? I'm getting my ass to 5-star diamond one way or another. It's the same thing in your business. If you want to be diamond, if you want to achieve $1,000 a week, if you want to achieve any of these large goals, you better be backing it up with action. That's what the Push for Diamond group is for. And this is going to be a focused 30-day group, which we're already on day 5. Yes, day 5. We started Monday. We're on day 5 today. The next one's not going to start until the 30-day mark. So shooting for about the first Monday of every month, I would like to get that on schedule. So if you're watching this and you think, wow, okay, I do want to be a diamond, I want to put in that level of work, contact me or the coach that sponsored you, because this group is going to get it done. We are the ones who are focused. We are the ones with driven intensity. And if you have any level of success that you want to achieve, not just in this business, you guys will learn that you can take anything I talk about with the business and apply it to any aspect of your life. Your workouts, your nutrition, relationships, spirituality, all of it. They're all the same principles at work universally. But what I talk about is what's worked for me in business, what I'm currently going through, what's working for me now, what hasn't worked. Hopefully something sticks to you. You take one of those golden nuggets out and you leave this call going, yes, I want to do this. That's what driven focus means. You show up and you do the work even on the days that you don't want to. So with that being said, lean into it's a good thing I wrote that down earlier. I almost forgot about it. Going into focused intensity. So the story I want to share with you guys is, shout out to Kaylee, because I told her this story on the call this morning and she gave me feedback and said it helped her out. So I figured, you know what, I'll share it with you guys. So let's talk about driven, focused intensity and the power of it. So for those of you that don't know, the nutshell version of this story is my turning point in life, in business, in myself having a vision for where I want to be in life, all happened March 17th, 2012 in the Bahamas. So my upline coach, Jason, brought me as a guest to that Success Club trip. And I was still working 6 days a week, slaving at a job that I hated, absolutely hated. I was working for a big 5-star spa, which it's all big and fancy, amazing building, blah, blah, blah. And it was a great paycheck as an LMT. But you know what? I didn't have weekends off because those were our busiest times. I can't tell you how many times I had to tell my family, sorry, I have to work. I can't go camping. I can't go to the beach. I can't come over for dinner because I'm not off till 9 o'clock. I had so much shit popped up and I just got so tired of it. So here I am on this big epic vacation in the Bahamas. And I remember talking to Jason, and we had seen a bunch of motivational speakers too. So my mindset was just like, holy crap, this is real stuff. And I remember talking to Jason, I'm asking him, like, we had 1,000 coaches that were running around the Bahamas beach. We had this big epic party, right, on the beach front. And I'm sitting here talking to Jason going, holy crap, man, like there's so many people here. How did they get here? And he said, most of these guys are full-time Beachbody coaches. This isn't a vacation for them. This is life. They get to live a Beachbody lifestyle full-time, and they get to travel and go see exotic places and spend time with their families and take weekends off and all this stuff. And I'm sitting here just like, that's where I can go with Beachbody. This whole time I had been treating it like a hobby. And for the first time in my life, I start to look at the possibilities. And I thought, how incredible would it be to live a life of freedom, to go to the Bahamas if I wanted to earn this trip and just go And for myself, I kept thinking, I have to go back to a job I do not like. I have to go back and work full time. I have to go back and work 6 days a week, long shifts, doing massage therapy. It's extremely taxing on the body. So my back was jacked up. I had shoulder issues, and I couldn't believe I had to go back to that. And all these coaches I'm looking at, and I'm thinking, they get to go back and enjoy what they're doing. They get to go back and do Beachbody full time. I want to do that. And so, we're sitting here dancing the night away, and we had this big epic party on the beach that Carl Deichler, the CEO, put on. And I'll never forget, he did this big speech at the end. And then, he does this big hand motion. All of a sudden, the biggest fireworks I've ever seen in my life start to go off over the water. I lost it. I absolutely lost it, because that was the first time in my life that those fireworks were going off. And it's really hard to explain unless you've had something like this happen. But those fireworks going off, I had this vision that those were going off for me, saying, you did it. You achieved this freedom. It wasn't in that point of time, but it was almost like I had this actual future vision of myself achieving that time freedom, that financial freedom to do that stuff full time. And I'll never forget, I literally just I walked away from the crowd I was hanging out with, which was Jason and a couple other our teammates. I walked away from those guys, and I just sat on the beach, and I just bawled my eyes out for about a half hour, because that was the first time I had a vision. That was the first time I projected that vision into the universe, and I gave it up to God. And I said, I'm ready for this. And so I went home, I finished up the year, and then January 2013 came around. That's where I started working. And one other little tidbit on that story is, when Jason first called me, there's a point to this, I'll share it in a minute. When Jason first called me and he said, hey, I'm going to take you on this trip. There's enough room in the hotel if you want to bring Trista, which we were just newlyweds at the time. And I'll never forget when I had to look her in the eyes, and then I had to look at him because he was on speakerphone. So Trista, automatically knew that we couldn't afford it. And so I remember giving her that look like, is that okay? Like, can we do this? And I remember she said, you go. And I had to look her in the eyes, and I had to tell Jason, like, I can't take my own wife. I can't afford that. We never even had a honeymoon. And I had to tell him, like, I can't afford that. So I went by myself, and I had a fantastic time. But the whole time there were two things going through my head. Number one is, I wish Trista were here to experience this. I got to experience a warm beach for the first time in my life. I live on the Oregon coast. That water is freaking cold. I got to experience white sand in a warm water, a warm ocean for the first time. I got to experience that. I got to experience a tropical vacation. And the whole time I'm thinking, Trista's at home just by herself. And that killed me. So that was the first one. The second one is, I didn't earn this trip. All these coaches who are here, they busted their asses to get Success Club every single month and earn this trip. I didn't do that. I didn't earn this. Those were two things that went through my head. So when I came out of that trip, I told myself, I will never take that kind of trip again and have to look my wife in the eyes and say, I'm sorry, I can't bring you because we don't have enough money. I will never do that again. I refuse. So when I came home and then they announced the 2014 Caribbean cruise, you bet your ass I won that trip. I earned it that year, and I brought Trista to that trip, and it was the honeymoon we could never afford. That's the power in Beachbody. So that's a little bit of a background. That was one of the biggest turning points in my entire life, not just the business. That was a big turning point in my confidence, in my ability to project a vision and put it out there so I can make it happen. So how does this relate to focused intensity? Some of you may have asked, why did Jason choose you? And it's like, Jason and I have been great friends, but he didn't just give me that trip. It must have been early November, maybe it was late October, so October, November-ish. Jason had put out an incentive, and he said, hey guys, I have this trip that I won. It's to the Bahamas, and I'm going to give it to who earns it. And so he had told me, at the time I was an Emerald. I only had maybe 5 or 6 coaches under me, and most of them were inactive. I had 2 actives, just enough to be Emerald. And Jason told me, if you achieve diamond rank and hold it, I will bring you as my guest on that Bahamas trip. And here's the kicker. He put a deadline on it. I had to achieve diamond rank by the end of that year, which is December 31st. Between November and December, we're talking less than 2 months. Between November and December, I talked and invited to more people than I have even up till today. I talked to, I kid you not, at least bare minimum 10 people a day, sometimes 20. Did I talk to them about Beachbody alone? No. I built relationships. I did it the right way. I wasn't cheesy. I wasn't a salesman. I built it the right way. But here's the thing. For those 2 months, focused freaking intensity. I didn't waste time. I didn't screw around. I made diamond rank a priority. And I looked up what the top coaches were doing. I asked Jason, I looked at myself and I said, okay, what do I need to do to become a diamond coach? And it was simply, you need to invite as many people as you can while maintaining integrity in the business, while building relationships. Some of these relationships took the full 2 months until anyone said, you know what, I'll give this Beachbody thing a try that I see you talking about. Some of these people take time. You can't talk to somebody, meet them on day 1, and then expect them to sign up on day 2. Relationships take time. But guess what? If you focus on talking to a lot of people per day, like I did, when those people start to get further on, so let's say you've been talking to 10 people a day, 7 days a week, let's say 5 days a week. So you're talking to 50 people a week over the course of 2 or 3 months. That, I'm not going to do the math. I'm horrible at math. That's a lot of people. That's the scientific number it comes out to, is a friggin' lot. That's a lot of people. So out of that many people, do you think about 10 or 20 will eventually sign up and join with you and join this vision, this mission that you're on? If you're talking to 500 people, you bet your ass at least 20 are going to be joining you, especially if you are building the relationship and building the trust. There comes a time where you see a turning point in your business. All of a sudden you have these signups coming in. And it's easy to look at these top coaches now who are getting Success Club 40 and 50 each month. And it's easy to look into that and be like, oh my gosh, how did they hit Success Club 50 this month? And a lot of people don't look at the fact that it's taken them 2 months, sometimes more, of talking with those people until they converted. They just happened to all come in around the same month. And I've seen that in my own business. That happens a lot. I signed up not just too long ago. It was the last month I signed up 4 people in the course of like 3 days. Is it because in those 3 days I talked to those 4 people? No, it was because those 4 people I've been talking to for months and building the relationship and inviting them to my free challenge groups and inviting them to my paid challenge groups, and they declined it. A lot of people have to be invited more than one time. No for somebody usually means, not right now. But when they're ready, if you maintained integrity with that relationship, they're going to know exactly who to come to. They're going to say, I like you. I trust you. I believe in what you're doing. Let me in. I'm ready to do this. So focused intensity, guys. I busted my ass, and I hit diamond rank by December 31st. I think it was like December 20th. It was right before Christmas. I remember I texted Jason the picture of it when it said diamond. I said, guess what? And so he called me up and said, congratulations, you're getting the trip. Do you want to bring Tristan? That's where the whole story started again. But you guys can see what I mean by focused intensity. You have to have 30 or 60 or 90 days of just get up and hit it. There's no screwing around. You don't have enough time for that, especially if you are where I was at. If you are stuck in a job that you hate, if you're stuck in a job that you don't get paid what you're worth, if you're stuck in a job that you can't even pay all your bills, that should be a huge motivator for you. A lot of times people talk about money and money shouldn't be a motivator, but if you need to make this your full-time career the way I did, money, that's a touchy subject too, because money can be a motivator if it's for the right reasons. My reasonings were I wanted to become full-time Beachbody coach, get paid by it. That way I can be at home and then I could bring my wife home. And guess what? We just had a baby. So I get to be here for him. Think back. If I didn't do those 2 months of focused intensity, I would probably still be at a full-time job away from my son. But because of those 2 months, look at the impact that the compound effect had up until today, where I get to hang out and talk to you guys and I get to talk to my clients and customers and all this stuff. But most of all, my little boy is with me. I get to be here as he grows up. That's where using money as a motivator can be a positive thing. So look at your current situation, income-wise, financially. If you're sick and tired of being broke, that should be a motivator to do something about it. Again, while maintaining integrity. That I can't tell you guys how many times on a weekly basis I just stop, look at Ty as he's, big old bright blue eyes looking back at me, and I just think, thank God for Beachbody, because without it, I would have to be in a massage right now to make that money. But because I've put in my focused intensity and I got out of my comfort zone, I get to be home with my boy. Trista has 6 more weeks left on her maternity leave. She doesn't have to go back full time. Beachbody's got it covered. That's the power that this can bring. And that's just my situation. My family is my motivator now. My motivator is I will never settle for being mediocre. I will be that light that everyone needs in their dark world. I can't help everyone. Not everyone is my market. Not everyone's my niche. But for those that need to hear my message, that for those that want to join me in my mission and to create that freedom for their families, I'm put into their life for a reason. I'm a Beachbody coach for a reason, and I am damn proud of it. So if you are serious about this, all it takes is making a decision to bring focused intensity, even if it's a short burst. We have the Team Cup coming up. We have 2 teams, so we have 10 of us total inside this thing. That starts on Sunday, the 1st. This is a 30-day time that you can bring focused intensity. This is a 30-day time where you can, for once in your life, get out of your comfort zone and stay out there. Venture out into the wild. Because if you're out in the wild for long enough, right, you come back with a beard and you know how to kill and tackle a bear down, right? You have to go out into the wild to learn how to live out there. That's a good one. I'm going to have to come up with a picture for that. Getting out of your comfort zone is literally just like going out into the wild. You're going to learn, it's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to learn how to fend off creatures, how to eat, hunt and eat for yourself. You're going to learn all these skills. The longer you're out there, the more confident you get. Totally going to use that. No one trademarked that yet.
You have to grow your beard out longer to be a caveman.
I know, right? Still got a few inches to go. So that's all I got for you tonight, guys. We're coming up on the hour mark. Focus intensity, getting out of your comfort zone. Last quick thing I'll touch base on is not everyone has the same goals. I see a lot of successful, wealthy coaches out there, and all they talk about is the money and the finances. And that's great. Like I just talked about, it's a great motivator if you do it for the right reasons, but not everyone's reasonings are going to be the same. Not everyone's values are going to be the same. Not everyone's goals are going to be the same, which is why goal setting is so freaking important. So guys, if you're watching this call, Sit down tonight. Don't waste another day. Like I talked about, your death date, unfortunately, is not getting pushed back just because you decide to take a night off and sleep in. Sit down, make your goals, really hit home for yourself. Because if you do that, from setting those goals, you can put the vision out there. You can share your vision with others. You can work on yourself because we're all a work in progress. Become the best, healthiest, kick-ass version of yourself and simply share with others along the way. Invite them to join our family. Invite them to join our mission. We are all on the same mission to help people fight whatever they need to fight. For some people, it's obesity. For some people, it's mental blockages. Everyone's fighting something, and we get to be that one person that can play a small role in helping them. And there's no better reward than when somebody comes back and says, because of you, I was able to change this. Best damn job on the face of the planet. I'm blessed enough to do it full time. I want you guys to be able to do it full time if that's your goal. So aside from that, we're open for Q&A if you guys have any questions. Or just give me a thumbs up if you are just so tired and you want to go to bed, and you'll probably just watch the recording later. All right, guys. I appreciate you taking time to hop on here, especially on a Friday night. For those of you that are watching the recording, I also thank you. And aside from that, peace out. We got Team Cup starting on Sunday. I take Sundays off, so I'll see you guys on Monday. This has been Coach Jazz. Peace out. Who wants to be kick-ass? Let's do it, team. See ya.